Hello everyone. So for the purpose of this assignment, I decided to focus on runaway and homeless youth. Runaway and homeless youth encompass a large and growing population in the United States and are left vulnerable to a large range of social issues. Sometimes they're referred to as unaccompanied youth or individuals who lack the parental, foster, or institutional care. And according to the National Runaway Switchboard, it's estimated that there are 1.3 million homeless youth living on the streets. They're often left vulnerable to social issues that include substance abuse, mental health, sexual exploitation, and in some cases, death. It estimates that 5,000 homeless youth die each year as a result of assault, illness, or suicide. And in order to address some of these needs, programs need to be well equipped in order to run a multifaceted program. There's a lot of theories and research articles and practice experiences that have influenced my thinking and importance in creating better programs for youth who are runaways or homeless. So in my own personal practice, in undergrad, I worked at a runaway and homeless youth shelter in upstate New York, and the program offered a wide range of services such as mediation with families, counseling, providing housing, crisis intervention, mental health services. They would help with tutoring and employment opportunities. And throughout working for them, I got to do a lot of macro-based social work like outreach in the community, looking for youth that were living on the streets and offering them different services or referrals, or having them come and stay in the shelter until we could get them connected with more services. And also lobbying for increase of funds. In New York, they had been cutting a lot of money that was going towards runaway and homeless youth. So a few years ago, I got to do a lot of lobbying, and we ended up getting all the money that we asked for, which was pretty awesome. When looking at different places, so right now I'm in Montana, which is a more rural community, we have absolutely no options for youth who are runaway and homeless aside from group homes. There is one shelter, but it's in Billings, which is 2.5 hours away. And so obviously for youth that are in school or not looking to leave their home or place that they're at, it really isn't a great resource to use. From an ecological perspective, I think it's important to identify targets for change at multiple different levels. So that includes like social politics and cultural norms, assets of resources of people who are homeless, as well as assets and resources available in their environments. And it encourages active collaboration with the youth, stakeholders, in analyzing innovative ways to use existing resources. Youth especially should be involved. A lot of times when you have a youth who's been living on the streets for a while, they're very independent. So you want to know what kinds of things that they're looking for and what services would best meet their needs at that time. When looking at different programs that benefit youth, it's allowing youth to feel empowered, having leadership roles within the agencies, so involving them in decision making, enhancing life skills, building their self-esteem, and giving them a sense of community. And they're a really important conversation in finding out the best ways to meet their needs. So for this semester, part of my advocacy project, or my research project, was advocacy. And that was advocating for a runaway and homeless youth shelter in Great Falls, Montana, specifically for youth who identified as LGBTQ. Throughout my research project, I did a lot of educating in the community using videos, real-life stories of youth, presentations, presenting to our community action team in town, and kind of trying to motivate people towards change and having a better understanding of why a program like this is so important. Especially in Great Falls, Montana, we're located in Cascade County, and we have the highest death rate for youth in the United States, and also the highest suicide rate. So having some kind of a successful program to engage, especially youth, and giving them the resources that they need is really important in a community like this. The main barrier to that project was the lack of funding. A multifaceted program like this would be extremely expensive, but while it was a barrier, it did spark great conversation for other possible solutions to this problem. So it included talking to families who would volunteer to take action and finding ways to provide stipends for those families who would house the youth, and also increasing knowledge of community stakeholders and starting to look at programs in town who could possibly provide the different services that youth in this particular population would need. So obviously this program needs a lot more done in the future. So for my one big goal for the future, starting or running a multifaceted program like this, especially in more rural communities where there definitely is a need. And I'd like to focus on leadership skills, empowerment, strengths-based skills during their stays in the program, while also providing housing, mental health services, family advocacy, and mediation. After I complete my MSW, I will definitely continue to actively engage in social justice in a lot of ways. Being stationed at Malmstrom, I'll continue to be a victim advocate for our sexual assault prevention response program, and that is providing and supporting survivors of rape with access to services and support. I'll continue to advocate for clients, connect them to resources and services to meet their needs. And when there aren't any services or gaps available, I will advocate for policy and program changes. And not only do I want to lead those changes, but kind of empower and support my clients to advance their own well-being and promote for those changes as well. And throughout my time at Kent School, I've developed and maintained a lot of skills which will help me in my future. So I think some of the strengths I identified was interpersonal and communication skills, a lot of leadership skills through this program, as well as military trainings and involvement, organizing, seeking out different opportunities for change and improvement, empathy, and a lot of the stuff that we've learned throughout research classes and finding different interventions, working on micro, meso, and macro levels. So as a new graduate, I definitely have some areas of growth and improvement as well. So one area I pointed out was taking on too many tasks. I'm often very passionate and I want as much experience as I can working in different fields, but often that leads me to say yes to too many things. So one thing that I heard in the past that I love is the more things that you say yes to, the more things that you're saying no to. So kind of reprioritizing how and what I'm working on and whether or not I can take on new tasks, even if that means saying, hey, no, I need to think about it for a few days. Other things I said, I have a tough time focusing on one thing at a time. I'm a really good multitasker and I like to work on different things, but sometimes that has me missing smaller details in different projects. And lastly, I need just the lack of experience in general, like needing a good supervisor and a lot of hands-on experience. So thank you for everyone, and I've really enjoyed this class.